Hey, on my YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Rams fan YT. Thank you so much before we get into this video, 40 subscribers. It means a lot to me, and please feel free to put in the comments. I will respond to them. You are just so amazing if you've subscribed. I can't say how thankful I am. And also, please bear in mind that this is only a predictions video. Please don't feel free to write your own opinions of predictions and stuff, but please don't say how stupid I am, because I'm not very knowledgeable of this league. But I try my best. I probably have improved slightly since last year. Hopefully, I'll get more than one correct in these two leagues combined. So let's start with the National League North. And for 22nd, I've gone for Alfreton Town. I'm sad to say it as a Derbyshire person, but they did look dreadful in the part of the season which was played last year. So that form, I think, will continue, and they will be relegated. Although it will be replaced by Mickleover, I think. 21st, I've gone with Spennymoor Town. Both the management and the captaincy worry me. Tommy Miller has been assistant for a while, but there's a whole nother level when it comes to being the top man, the top dog, the manager, the man in charge. James Curtis, the captain, is 39 years old, so he's past it. I don't think his legs have got it anymore. I know they usually reach for playoffs or at least challenge, but I just have this feeling that they won't do so well this season. 20th, I've got Leamington. The final relegation spot goes to Leamington. They have the smallest capacity stadium, therefore the least amount of fans. Although I'm not going to offend any Leamington fans saying they're bad this year. You are amazing fans. They have a small squad, though, of 14, with only Connor Taylor and Dan Turner being really any good. Paul Holloran's tactics are past it for the modern game, and Leamington have stagnated, becoming a bit of a mid-table team over the last 5 years or so. So I just think it's finally time for them to drop off. 19th, I've got Gateshead. Player managers, in my experience, tend never to work, and I don't see really any change here. There are some great players in that dressing room, but many are probably going to leave this transfer window, and lots more are going to join. This will kind of create a disjointed changing room, which can work one of two ways, actually. They could actually have massive success, and I'd be happy for them if they do. But it could also lead to a dramatic failure as well. 18th, we've got Darlington. There's not much change from last season, really, with an experienced manager, Alan Armstrong, who knows how to stay in the league, but he's probably average at this level. I don't really trust the keepers either, but the forward department is good enough, really, to keep them up. 17th, we've got Hereford. This has been where they've averaged in recent years, so I don't see much difference unless some changes are made. Josh Gowling is not the right player, being inexperienced and is over-reliant on defence. Sorry, right manager, not player. I'm over-reliant on a defence, which really isn't that good. 16th, I'm going to go with Guiseley. This is probably where they would have finished last season, but joint managers is always dangerous, as I mentioned in my predictions last season. And it certainly looked like that would turn out to be true last season as well. The overall squad is very poor, with really only Hamza, Ben Sheriff, Jonathan Wafula and Andre Jones being good enough players at this level. 15th, I've gone for Blythe Spartans. Michael Nelson is the defensive manager, and the defence is the best department probably of the squad. They will be determined not to be relegated and finish the season strongly, ending in 15th. 14th, I've gone with AFC Telford United. Seems a safe bet, as they are a mid-table team, and that mindset stays with the players. Gavin Cohen is also quite experienced. I don't know if he's managed with Telford or not. I seem to have mentioned his name twice. A range of sources seem to be implying he's the manager of both with Telford now, so can ensure that they do stay away from relegation pact, but not good enough to challenge for playoffs. The squad size is dangerously low, but they'll just probably have enough to stay mid-table, unless they do have an injury crisis. 13th, I've got York City. The squad has weakened severely since they were even in the National League. let alone League Two. And with only 15 players, it doesn't look good enough to reach a playoff challenge, let alone trying to win the league this season. The manager is good enough, though, to steer this club to mid-table, but other than that, there's nothing there that really fills me with hope. 12th, I've gone for Curzon Ashton. Not a bad team, but with the experience of Cunningham. Although the step up is big and the lack of depth in forward positions looks likely that they'll end up towards the top end of mid-table. Due to not conceding many, but I don't think they'll score enough, with the only striker being Dominic Knowles. He's very good, don't get me wrong, with League Two experience and has experienced promotion before, but him alone, he's not going to be good enough on his standalone. He's going to need other forwards chipping in, isn't he? At 11th, I've got Farsley Celtic. They always seem to be challenging for the playoffs, but they just sort of slip out of it and then don't gather enough momentum to get back. Adam Lakeland knows the club, though, and the league, but just doesn't have enough to reach the playoffs for me, and it will be another 11th place finish. 10th, I've gone with Chorley. Lindsay Hoyle's club, the chairman, or the speaker, of House of Lords. They managed to reach the fourth round in the FA Cup last season, unfortunately beating under-18s Derby squad. But they definitely have a good squad, this means, as well as a depth, which many of the squads at this level just don't have. I think they will challenge for the playoffs, but will fall 4 points off, having had a poor sort of winter campaign with a lot of games getting called off because of snow and stuff. 9th, I've gone with Kettering Town. They have amazing squad depth for this league, and for that reason, squad rotation could be key to getting the points on the board for a phenomenal season for the Poppies. Paul Cox is a highly experienced manager, knowing how to get goals out of the squad, as when he was at Mansfield, he managed to get his team to win 8-1 against Barrow in the National League. Not only does he know how to reach for the playoffs, he can also do well in relegation scraps, which would ultimately end with Kettering really challenging for the playoffs and then maybe surviving if they ever end up going up there in the National League. 8th, I've got AFC Fylde. Jim Bentley is highly experienced, with at one point being the longest serving manager in the EFL while at Morecambe. He is defensive-minded, so that won't be the problem, with a very skillful, probably National League standard squad. What I think, though, is lacking is the grit and determination for a full season, which was seen at parts, to be fair. And as a result, end a win away, probably, from the playoffs, losing the last game of the season, just a slip up. And it will be very disappointing for Fylde fans. Manager will then probably reach the semi-finals, but I think they'll fall off massively, concede lots of goals to Chester. 6th, I've got Boston United. They always, without doubt, reach the playoffs, but never progress that far in them, really. I reckon they'll get knocked out in the quarterfinals. They do have a worse squad this season as well, but the experience of being there before done that will make them make it by maybe a point or two or something like that. 5th, I've gone for Bradford Park Avenue. I saw enough improvements from the squad last season to make me think they'll reach the playoffs. Mark Bauer is an experienced manager within the National League North and is just above 40% win percentage, which combined with enough draws could result in a playoff push. They also have a better squad this season than previously. I also think they will win the playoffs to get promoted and get up into the National League. I mean, I don't personally remember, but they were one point in the first division back in the 1930s, I think. 4th, I've got Brackley Town. Another team which always reaches the playoffs but always fails. I've got them eliminated this time in the quarterfinals. Kevin Wilkin is one of the most experienced managers at this level, having been at Brackley since 2015, as well as the level above at Wrexham and Nuneaton. The squad does need improving, though, as they do have a thin squad of 14 players, although there isn't a transfer window, so they can bring in players if they do need so. 3rd, I've got Chester. This is a fan-owned club, shows that they know what's in the best interest for the club. They also have a great squad depth, which will enable them to deal with injuries if they occur, meaning they can reach the playoff with the manager's choice. I think they'll reach the playoff finals, but I think they'll lose it. It'll be a cagey affair and probably lose it 1-0. Although they could win it either way as well. Second, I've got Gloucester City. Although they had played 3 more games than Fylde, they certainly looked on track to win the league. However, their squad is so thin, they only have 13 players, so that would prevent them probably from winning the league in the end. As I believe Paul Groves is an incredible manager for this level, but I think they're not got enough and will get knocked out in the semi-finals now. First, I've got Southport. Liam Watson always works wonders when he's with Southport, having won the National League North with them, and also another National League North title with Telford. So this is the main reason I've put Southport at the top of the league. The goalkeeping department does worry me, but the rest of the squad is good enough to win the league, really. Now on to the National League South. For the first relegation spot in 21st, I've got Dulwich Hamlet. I have a strange feeling that the keeper will be injured, and with no reserve, they will lose numerous matches before they can bring in a new one, who won't be as good. However, the manager is more of a level 7 manager, really, not a level 6 in terms of pyramid. That's kind of also a bit of a worry. 20th, I've got St Albans City. They don't have that many great players. Furthermore, Ian Allinson's tactics are old now, and he should probably retire. Please don't rage at me. I know this prediction is mad, but I just think it's just my personal opinion. 19th, I've gone with Welling United. They were the worst team last season, and they will get relegated this season. Steve Lovell was a good manager back in the 1990s, but he did all right with Gillingham, but the squad, I think, is what is extremely lacking. With many new players, but he still has a rotten core in it, and that just transfers onto other players, and the negativity will continue. 18th, got Oxford City. They're normally a mid-table side, and the manager is only an assistant manager, really, at best. The goalkeeper is poor, and there is no really good backups. They will survive by just a point, really. 17th, going for Chippenham Town. They are the only mid-table. They are normally a mid-table team to relegation scrapping end, and the manager is not that good. With only a half-decent squad, I don't think they'll do very well this season. 16th, I've got Tunbridge Angels. They always seem to finish around this place without a decent goalkeeper and not many good players. Full stop. McKim has been at a club though for a while, so I think he'll be able to get the best out of the squad to stave off any relegation threat, and ultimately probably finish where they normally do. 15th, we've got Concord Rangers. They have an extremely large squad, so can rotate. However, the skill set within the team is not that good. They also don't have a manager at the moment, therefore don't see them mounting any significant challenge at the beginning, and will look like they'll be relegated until they click and finish in mid-table. 14th, got Billericay Town. Again, a team that often finishes in mid-table with some good players and some bad players. Kevin Watson is also an experienced manager and managed to get to the team to mid-table. 13th, I've got Hemel Hempstead Town. They have good enough players to reach mid-table, although Lee Birchin is not experienced enough at this level to get them challenging for the playoffs. 12th, I've got Braintree Town. They only have 14 players and have no good midfielders, but have enough goals in them to reach the mid-table position. Ryan Maxwell is inexperienced, but with a Walthamstow, he had a good win percentage, so I think that doesn't count for something. 11th, got Havant Waterlooville. They finished the curtailed season 9th, but they could well have finished lower. I think they'll challenge as usual, but just not reach the final hurdle, although they certainly have the squad to make it that far. Paul did well with Sutton, but I don't know if that will translate into the Hawks in this season. It could in a later season, don't get me wrong. 10th, I've got Maidstone United, another team which finishes around this place every season, always looking to challenge for the playoffs but falls just short, and the same will happen again. They will be 6 points off, but they have a very strong international squad with players from many different countries around the world. Furthermore, the manager's experience at this level, but there just isn't enough to reach the playoffs in it for me. 9th, I've gone for Dartford. This may come as a surprise to fans, but I don't believe that they'll reach the playoffs this season with a weaker squad this campaign than previously, especially in the goalkeeping department. The manager is decent at this level, but I doubt they'll reach the playoffs, or just some strange reason, really. 8th, I've got Eastbourne Borough. They have a lot of players, so we're definitely challenged for the playoffs, but only a few are decent enough to get to the actual playoffs. Although Danny Bloor hasn't got much experience to gain them into the playoffs either, so that is also a mitigating factor. 7th, I've got Hungerford Town, where they finished the curtailed season last time, and they have an underrated squad in my opinion, just waiting for the right time to progress. The manager has won 14 trophies, including the FA Vase in 2018. His passion for success will carry them to the playoff semi-finals, but I think they'll lose out by only 1 goal in it. 6th, I'm going to go with Ebbsfleet United. The current squad they have is unbelievable at this level and will result in a comfortable playoff finish with probably 9 points clear. The manager did very well in Germany's 5th tier by topping the league, which really isn't that much different from this level in England. I believe with a squad like this, they are capable of reaching the playoff finals and will probably lose on a penalty shootout though. Okay, 5th, Slough Town. Last season was unusual for Slough, and I think this season they'll be back into the playoff picture. Although both the squad and management is a lot worse than in the past, I reckon they'll progress to the quarterfinals, but that lack of quality will shine through, being handsomely dispatched 3-0. 4th, I've got Chelmsford City. They have plenty of attacking options, making a lot of goals, scoring around 50 goals in the season, and won't concede that many, yet making a large goal difference. Robbie Simpson was a good player back in the day. I see no reason why he couldn't be a good manager either. They'll reach the playoff quarterfinals, but the craps will be shown in the playoffs, and I think they will lose that at that round. 3rd, I've gone for Bath City. Another team which normally reaches the playoffs, just didn't in the curtailed season. They have a decent enough squad to reach the playoffs, but the forward options are severely lacking. Jerry Gill also knows the squad, so he can work wonders with them. In the playoffs, they will reach the final and get promoted, and that hasn't actually happened since the 2006-07 season. 2nd, I've got Hampton and Richmond Borough. A small squad and has 2 sides. Either the same squad throughout the season could get a rhythm going, but that rhythm could be good or it could be bad, and I'm predicting good for the Beavers. The manager actually did quite well with Hendon. And finally, but not least, 1st, I've got Dorking Wanderers. They were totally going to win the league last season, no matter what, but they got robbed with such squad depth. They will actually gain promotion this season. Although I do have trepidations about the skill of a full squad. Mark White is the manager and also the chairman, so can use the money to get the player that he wants. Although they don't really spend it, they often get free transfers. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you're new around here. I'm making a lot of predictions recently. This is just one of many. Coming up, I've got a history of your club, doing the history of Queen's Park Rangers, and then I'll do the predictions of the National League next week. So it's goodbye for now.